Hello and welcome to Always with Awareness. My name is Awa Lodmel.
And my name is Douglas Lodmel. And today we want to talk about relationships again, but this is actually a question from our daughter who's 24 years old.
Yes.
And I said, what do you want us to talk about? And she said, what I talk about with my friends all the time is that we're all in our 20s and so many of my friends are saying, I'm not getting married. Well, or just want to I'll live with somebody. I don't want to get married. Even having kids, they don't feel the need to be married. I'll even have kids. And she wanted us to comment on that. So, because that opens up a whole can of worms that I think that we've talked a lot about between ourselves.
Yeah.
So why don't you just kind of vamp off of that and let's see where we go.
Yeah, and you have to know here, everything is on the go. I mean, there's no prep. There is no, what's the name again? Editing, nothing. Scripting. There's no script. So
we sat down and we did not know what we're going to talk about. So this is what we're talking about.
So, okay, where I would go with that, what I have seen with this millennium is less and less they have this sense of belonging, being part of something bigger.
Okay.
And as much as technology has been an improvement so needed and so beautiful, there is this sense also of having a life that is outside of your reality, what you're living.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is now you are sitting with your family, kids, adults, and everybody's on the phone, or they can't wait to snap a picture and to show that. So they are not present with the people that they are with having a meal. There is less and less conversation. These kids now less and less can communicate. I live it all the time with my own kids and my kids' friends. And it's always to remind them, when you are with people, in that moment, they're everything to you. When kids come to my house, I said, right now, I am your mom, I am your dad, I am the doctor, I might be even God for you, because it's to be present and who you are present with. And we're not teaching that enough to these kids. Why? Because when you have everything you need and the push button, you feel like you don't need to communicate with the person who is with you. You have followers. They're so attached to followers. And I think that has created a fear that is masqueraded as a power or self-sufficient power, but it's mostly fear. Fear of commitment, fear of belonging to something bigger than you. We are not part of the herd of the humans. I can do it myself. And that's dangerous because it's taking us where now, like our daughter is saying, men are afraid of committing. Women are afraid of committing to their life to a man who's not a provider.
Or just not being committed to her.
Definitely not.
Right.
It's scary.
So what I'm hearing you say is that we're creating a culture of ostensibly freedom through our technology and our phones and our ability to connect and have followers and all these, text anybody all the time, talk to anybody from anywhere around the world for free. All of that, which is amazing. And yet it's creating this fear of being committed to the moment that we have with an actual person.
Your reality. You are afraid of connecting with your reality.
And your reality is right now, you're sitting having a conversation with your wife.
Absolutely.
That's our reality now.
That's right now is our reality.
That's our reality. So,
and you can just miss it by being on the phone.
Right.
And thinking that reality you have in your head up there is more important than what you're living.
I think that is one of the most difficult things for any human to do, is to stay present, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
if you look at the wisdom traditions, you look at the people who meditate, you look at anybody who's giving spiritual, contemplative advice,
Yes.
they all talk about this presence.
Presence.
Like, how do you stay present?
That's right.
I mean, the entire practice of meditation is based around this idea of, how do I stay present? For even 5 seconds, how can you stay present?
That's
Much less 5 minutes.
I know.
Much less a whole all the time, day after day after day.
It takes practice.
Takes an incredible amount of practice.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so let's get back to that. Now I see where you're going with this. Let's get back to the relationship. So now you're this young adult who's grown up in this culture,
Yes.
where you don't have to decide anything till the last second, because you have Uber and you don't have to commit
I know,
to it.
right?
You have Open Table to make your reservations. Like, everything is just, let me leave myself open.
Yeah.
I can swipe left, I can swipe left. I don't even need a date tonight. I can get one in 5 minutes, right?
Absolutely.
And so,
I can have one that just pays my dinner and then move on to the next.
right, so I don't really have this. So it builds in a natural fear of that commitment, because you don't even know what it feels like.
They don't. They are floaters.
Yeah.
It's everything is, what am I getting right now with this?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to push likes? Who's going to be part of my life right now?
Mm-hmm.
But you are not with them. It's all happening in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's like carrying your past. You can have so many pasts. This podcast in 5 minutes is part of your past. So we are always given a chance to recreate ourselves. Always, every second. You have a chance to recreate yourself and your relationship every second. Are you taking it? Or are you holding on to the past?
Right.
Or are you holding on to the future that you don't know absolutely not is coming, and saying, I'm building it right now, my future? There is no such a thing. Your past, your future is always happening right in the moment. It's not separate. There is only one moment. There is right here, right now, in the present. And when you are not in the present, that's when you're creating now a reality that is not really your reality. It's not what you're living anymore. Doesn't matter if you've been abused. I'm sorry to go there. It's over. You survived it. You're here now. What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. What are you going to choose? I see the comments, and I have a lot of passion. My mom is not. My daughter is not. But right now, in this moment, what are you doing? This future is the same. I want to have this. I want to do this. But right now, in the moment, are you taking the opportunities in your life? You're not. Because if you are at the table and you're not participating at the table, you will be always missing the opportunity. Because by shooting right there in the non-reality, just waiting for somebody to catch, it might happen, it might not. But the present moment is always here to give you a space to connect, to see yourself, and to create a new reality. Always. And I think in this new generation, that's what is missing. And that's why that fear. Why? Because they're always either in the past or in the future.
Right. So they're applying their own past. Perhaps they came from a divorced family, which now is very common.
Exactly.
I would say the majority of young adults have come
My mom
from a
messed
divorce.
up, so I'm going to mess up.
Right. So I don't want to make that mistake. I don't want to have that experience. So I'm not going to get married. So that,
Absolutely.
So because the question is, why aren't they seeing marriage as a positive thing? Why are they seeing it as a threat? Because that's what I heard her asking.
Yes.
Is that my friends are threatened by the idea of commitment to marriage.
Yes.
So instead, they're just going to do everything without making that final step.
Well, okay, to that I'm going to answer. Doesn't matter what you do, you are committing to something. Mm-hmm. Not committing to marriage is committing to what? Multiple relationship. You choose.
Or it's committing to an uncommitted committed relationship, which
what?
starts to not make any sense, right?
I mean, fine.
I'm committed to you, but I don't want to commit to you with this marriage concept. So I want to stay uncommitted, but I want to be committed.
Well, let's talk about this marriage concept. What is so afraid? Why are you so afraid of it? That's not a jail. Marriage has never been designed as a prison. You are not in prison because you're married. That's like I always say, my no's and my yes weigh the same on the balance. If it works, stay. If it doesn't, don't. How powerful is that?
Well, I think the answer to that question is that, at least in our culture,
Yes.
we have created this concept that it's an irrevocable decision, right? That once you say, I'm getting married, that's it. I have told you I'm not going to change my mind. I am committing to you forever, because there's this I don't know if it's a romantic concept of like, that's the way it should be. But I know when we got married, right? I'll tell this story. I had some fear, right? Because I had been married and I had been divorced.
Yes.
And so I had a little bit of post-traumatic shock.
So you were in the past.
Right. I was in the past.
I might
going,
create the past again.
And that first marriage, I did have that kind of juvenile concept, like, that's it. I said yes, that's it. I meant yes, and yes is yes. It doesn't matter what happens. But it didn't happen. It didn't stay, right? So now I have a little PTSD, and so now I'm seeing this new opportunity, which is you. And I'm saying, oh, well, maybe I just want to try to hedge my bets here. Like, let me just hedge. Can we date? How far can we go without getting married, right?
Without commitment.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
without real commitment. I can be fully committed to you, but let's just hold off on that one, right? Let me not fully commit to that, because I had a bad experience with that.
Yes.
Which, maybe it triggered the bad experience that I had with my parents who were divorced.
Yeah.
Right. So now I've got multiple generations
Fear
of
is
trauma
real.
and PTSD.
Absolutely.
And you said to me something. You said, look, I'm not asking for you to make a decision that you can never change your mind.
No.
I'm asking for you to be clear right now. Can you commit to me right now?
That's right.
If you wake up tomorrow and it's a new decision, it's okay. It'll be a new decision, and you can say no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, when it sunk in, it settled me, and I said, oh, that's what you're asking?
Yeah.
You're not asking me to say yes forever and ever and ever for the rest of the time because I don't know?
Nobody.
No, you can't. So here's the thing it made me think of. If you're driving a car, are you fully committed to driving that car?
You better be.
Or are you not? Because if you're not, you might not have a good experience.
That's right.
But in the moment that you're driving, you're fully committed to driving. I hope, right?
Yeah.
And many people aren't, and they experience the consequence, right?
That's right.
If you're flying an airplane, are you fully committed to flying that airplane? You better be, right?
Yeah.
If you're hiring somebody, do you want somebody who says, actually, I'm not going to really be committed to you, I'm just trying this out? Or do you want somebody saying, when I'm here, I'll be fully committed? You're not asking them to sign a contract that they will be your indentured slave for the rest of their life. They'll never leave you.
Absolutely.
It doesn't happen, right?
No.
But you're never going to hire somebody that says, yeah, I'm not really committed, but I think I'll do okay while I'm here.
That's right.
Even though that's really what it is when you hire somebody.
Yeah.
Right? So I think what we're hearing is that kids have a concept, or young adults have a concept around what marriage means,
Yes.
that maybe they need to revisit.
First of all, you cannot ask anybody to be committed to you. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And you not committing to somebody else. You committing to yourself. There is nobody here but you, always, at any given time. And marriage is beautiful. Why? Because commitment is beautiful and it's hard at the same time. It's saying, I'm gonna have this meal that I don't know anything about until I fall in love with this meal. But people think they fall in love with the meal first and then figure out that the meal sucks. So when you asked me that question, it was almost like I had to commit to what kind of wife I'm going to be with you. How the hell am I going to know that? I'm not your wife. So I think clearing that and making people come back to the present moment, and that's why it's beautiful, because when you are in the present moment, both of you, you fully committed to it. That's where the juice is. That's where the juice is. That's where the mistakes can be talking about. Like I said, stand for somebody else fully, knowing that they're going to grow, they're going to do mistakes, and that you're going to not be looking at your benefits always and stand for them. You are doing it anyway for the rest of the world always.
Right.
Who doesn't care? But can you do it for yourself? Can you commit to something yourself and practice it? That's all. You practicing no matter what. Non-commitment. So, where is it taking you? You practicing every time when you're at the table and you're doing, I'm not committing to anybody in this table. Okay, well then fine, I'm going to be on my phone. Oh, I'm not committed even to the meal before I try. Let me shoot the picture to show the whole world.
Yeah.
So you're doing it anyway. Can you now practice being present with the meal for you? Can you practice being at the table with everybody? Can you be interesting and interested for you, not for anybody else? And that is what marriage is. You're not marrying somebody. You're marrying a mirror to yourself. And when the mirror is dirty, you clean it kindly. And if it takes a divorce, it's a kind divorce too. So if this can help this new generation to walk with confidence into a relationship, well, I will be so honored.
Yeah.
Because that's what it takes. Mm-hmm. It's to lower the fear. You cannot be fearful when you're present. It's that simple.
Anybody who's been in an accident or some kind of situation, in that moment where it's actually happening, the car is spinning around and going off the road, you are not worried about anything.
If you're worrying about anything already, that means you didn't let the cloud pass you. You're holding on to it with dear life and trying to ask questions. No. Everything is a belief. You creating them out of your fear or out of your past. But if you just let it go, maybe there is opportunity waiting for you in the present moment. It's not in the future. There is no such a future. When the future comes, it's going to be called what? The present. There is no day where you're going to meet the future. And there is no day where the past is coming back at you again. Unless you're there.
Unless you're running the movie over and over and over.
Over and over and over. So that's my answer to these kids, because, there is something beautiful about commitment, period. Doesn't matter how you call it, marriage or not marriage. To be committed is such a beautiful thing because you're giving yourself room to practice. You are grounded. You're not floaty. You're not changing every day to this new person. You're making this new person grow, and you look at it doing it organically. Doesn't mean you can't be angry. Doesn't mean you can't have fear. Doesn't mean you can't be pissed off. It doesn't mean you can't even have a divorce. Go for it. But don't anticipate it before it's here. Give yourself a chance. Give life a chance. Give your partner a chance.
Yeah.
So that's my answer for our daughter and her friends.
Well, my experience is that there's kind of this reverse relationship between commitment and freedom.
Yes.
And everybody who I know who has tried to stay free have imprisoned themselves in their freedom.
Freedom, absolutely.
And they're not free. They're not free. How are they not free? They're not free to commit. That's how they're not free. And in commitment is so much benefit, so much power. When you commit to something, you gain power. Ask anybody who's done anything with their life, whether they built a business, whether they excelled at a sport or an instrument, anything, doesn't matter. Being a parent, When you're committed, it opens up a different realm of your capability.
Absolutely.
And so in a relationship, to be committed changes the entire texture of the relationship.
That's right.
It's a different pond that you're swimming in.
Mm-hmm.
You're completely in different water than you are when you're trying to stay uncommitted. And so I see so many people that freedom is their most valuable, in their mind, the thing that they're trying to retain, and the thing that they're avoiding the most is commitment to relationship, because they want their freedom. And what that really means is, I want to sit on the couch, watch TV, and not have anybody tell me anything else, not have anybody ask anything from me. Not have to even think about anybody, because if I want to go and fart on myself and do nothing, I want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But they get very tired of sitting there watching Netflix. They get very tired of not having a partner in this life.
If it's a fear of the past.
It's fear.
And like I said, you are committed to committing anyway.
We're all committing.
That's the paradox here.
Right.
Committed
to not committing.
Yeah.
Okay?
And
you're committed to that.
And when you said, I'm committed to my freedom, that means you're already in jail.
Right.
If not, you wouldn't think about needing to free yourself.
Right. You put yourself in jail.
You put yourself in jail already.
Yeah.
So and that's the thing that people do. It's like they want one thing, but that attachment to that thing is making them live the opposite of that attachment.
Right.
And that's why they say non-attachment. So if I don't have non-attachment, but I have intention and I have a commitment myself, doesn't matter who is there, this is how committed I am, it's just peaceful.
Yeah.
Because the only one person you should be able to count on, at least, is you.
Most people can't count on themselves because they have proven to themselves over and over that they're not reliable, so they don't even believe themselves.
Exactly. So when you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be hard to believe in somebody else.
Very.
So this whole I don't want to commit is a fear, period, of committing to yourself.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you use to feed that fear, it's still fear. And the fear is only burning you, nobody else.
That's right.
Right? So you are the one that's going to have a life that you're not present to see how much you will grow. You'll be conscious in your life, of course. It's easy to be conscious. As long as you are breathing, you are conscious. But are you going to be aware? Are you going to be present? Do you see who is with you in your surrounding? They say you are your surrounding, but when you are not in your surrounding, it's going to be hard for your surrounding to touch, move, and inspire you. Mm-hmm. Right? And most of the time, that's what I see with these kids. It's just this technology, this new, and it's so sad because at the same time, we need it, and it has moved us so fast. But at some point, it's going to level out.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword, right? So this very technology that we're talking about is disconnecting us. We're using to connect, right? We're using to make the message more available. Mm-hmm. We're inspiring people. We know because they're commenting to us, telling us this one little video changed my life.
That's right.
Changed my relationship with somebody because I listened to what you said. Yeah. I was with a friend on the plane the other day, and he was saying, I watched one Instagram video that said, one day your kids are going to wake up and they're going to see who you really are. And he said, that changed my life because I realized, oh my God, they are. It's true. They will wake up and see who I really am. Who am I being? I want to make sure I am that, and who I see myself as. It caused him to go back to his kids and ask, how can I be a better father? Hear them. It was beautiful. It was beautiful because of an Instagram post, right? Oh, yeah. So I believe in this technology as a force for good.
Absolutely.
But as with everything, it can be used in any way. It can be used for to go down the rabbit hole of something that's not really serving you.
That's not your reality. Just make sure you are not detached from the reality that you are given at the present moment.
Yeah.
because that is the one that can touch, move, inspire you. And that's the one that's real. If you are on the phone, you are on the phone. When somebody else come in, you should have your senses make you believe somebody that you care for, who cares for you. Doesn't matter, it's your husband, your kid, your parent. I'm going to close the phone because now, this time I was alone. Now somebody else come in.
Right.
And that's awareness, is to be present in your present moment and to be vibrant, to be alive, to feed yourself from that present moment. And we all missing it when these kids or adults are so into, let's shoot this thing. I mean, they will have debts just to go travel to take pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so crazy, you know. And you invite people at your house. Before you say hi, before how are you, here they snapping. Can I go to this room and show? It's not about that. It's not about that. In your life, the most important person is you, and the next one is the person you are with.
Yeah. Whoever that is. at
Whoever that
moment.
is in that moment.
Yeah.
Everything else is just to beautify the space, you know.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is the other one breathing next to you, because whatever he exhale, you inhaling. Whatever you exhaling, he's inhaling. He or she.
Yeah.
It's like a plant being there, and you're not watering it when it's time.
Well, and you know, this opportunity to be in relationship. If you listen to anybody who's giving marriage advice for long marriages, they all say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's that commitment that creates the ability to get through the times
I know.
that you otherwise could have just walked away.
Yeah.
And so I think that marriage as a concept, feeling like it's a serious commitment, is actually a benefit to it, not a drawback. Yeah. And so my advice to my daughter is, when you are in that relationship and you're at that point, get married. Don't try to hedge. Be clear, make a decision, and know that you're always free. You're never not free. You're free inside of the commitment. You're not free because you're afraid to make the commitment.
And express yourself.
Right.
You know, there's this thing where we think marriage is about all love and romance. That's not about that.
No, you're lucky if you get some of that.
Exactly. If you get some of that, you're very lucky.
Bonus.
Bonus. It won't last forever.
Yeah. You might get some in the beginning, a year or two. All right.
But the one that lasts forever is the communication. I think if you don't know how to communicate who you are, what you want, where you are, what you're doing, it's not going to work.
Yeah. It's all about the communication
It's
and the honesty.
all about the communication. And unfortunately, we are less communicative. I mean, people do not communicate. I don't know if it's cultural, but that's what I feel here in this part of the world.
I think it's cultural. It's also part of the stage of our life with the technology and the fact that the kids can communicate more and communicate less at the same time, right? They're more in contact with each other and less connected at the same time.
Well, it's just I'm from the generation where, okay, when you're at home, your uncle comes in, it's like, get up, say hi. These kids don't know how to get up anymore. It's like,
I think that's very cultural.
It's cultural.
Yeah. We don't educate our kids to stand up and greet somebody who's entering the room. Hi. It's just
Exactly.
like, oh, hey, man.
Yeah. When you leave, it's like, okay, bye. It's like, okay, are you present? Who's this person to you? Get up. They left their home, come all the way. So coming from Senegal, and in my culture, we are very, there's a word for it, is yëg. Da ngay yëg nit ki. It's like there is a sense of feeling.
Feeling?
Is it like presence? You know, like the presence that the person occupy in your life.
Awareness?
Awareness, right? So and we are so educated and raised in that water that it is hard at this age, doesn't matter who it is, to enter my space without me acknowledging that somebody came in
Yeah.
or is leaving.
I think that's a whole, how we got here in this country and how we've lost that, because I think we used to have it.
Yes.
I think we did
I
lose
think
it.
you used to
I
have
think
it.
that we used to have it. I think we've lost it.
Yes.
But you don't have to have it lost forever. It can be
Yes.
something you can regain. And it starts with the relationship. For me, the marriage is the opportunity to practice. And the most important piece of the marriage that you must maintain is respect.
Absolutely.
If you lose respect for each other, that marriage can't last. So
And it's easy to do
It's
when you
easy to
don't
do.
communicate.
when you don't communicate, when you have expectations that you are not communicating,
Exactly.
it's very easy.
Yeah.
It's also very easy to keep it. You just have to work at it. You've got to actually have it. You've got to say, this matters to me.
That's right.
And so I think marriage is an incredible opportunity. I'm sad for young people who say, I'm not going to do it, because I think they're missing something.
And so is having kids. What a beautiful opportunity.
I mean, talk about a growth accelerator. Get married and have kids. You were on the path. So I think it's
Yeah.
beautiful. I do understand people who say,
Absolutely.
I really, this life for me is a little more about me, and I
Yeah.
get it. I totally do.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no right or wrong in this. It's
No.
not like it's right to have kids and be married, and it's wrong to not, or there is no wrong.
No.
It's just, what is the opportunity? What is the cost? What is it that you can, what is the outcome that you're looking for, and how is the best way to get there? So if you want to be in a relationship, commitment is very powerful. If you want to be in a relationship without commitment, that usually doesn't work out so well,
Well, like I said, again, you're in relationship with everything,
all the time.
all the time. Lively things or unlively, you are committed. And you are in relationship with the rest of the world. Either you like it or not. Now it's just, are you intentionally committed or not?
Right.
That's all. There is one question to ask. Am I doing it consciously or am I doing it unconsciously? And you're free. If you're consciously married, you have an amazing marriage. If you're unconsciously married, it might be a problem. If you consciously a celibate, you might be fine. If you unconsciously a celibate, you might have a problem.
That's right.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Because that's all the question you should ask.
Okay, so to wrap it up, specifically to answer her question, when our daughter comes to us in a serious relationship, what are you going to say?
I'll be happy for her.
Yeah.
I wish her well. I'll be very happy for her.
And if she
I
said,
think it's a big path of growth that is a great opportunity to dance with somebody.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you won't be afraid to tell her, yes, it's okay to be committed.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, the commitment is to herself.
Yeah.
There's no such a thing. It's not because you love somebody and there's a romance that they owe you life, their life.
Right.
They're going to have to grow. They're going to do mistakes, and so are you by the same
Can't
way.
help it.
Can't help it, but actually is to be present and say, wow, I'm going to spend maybe 50 years with this guy. I mean, for sure, these things are going to happen. These 5. Can I stand the heat? Can I stand those 5 when they happen? Because they might. I mean, this world is so simple when you're present to things that can even badly happen to you.
Yeah. It's
Believe me,
pretty simple.
They don't get out of these 5 counts. You're going to be lied to, abused, what is it? Killed, sick, you name it. bring the bottom up. Will I still be standing after all of that? That's it.
Yeah.
And if you can answer that for yourself,
which you won't really know until it happens.
Yeah, it might not happen.
All you can know is that it's possible, and I will stand committed when it does.
That's all
to myself.
It is. To myself.
That might mean I'm leaving because
Exactly.
that's what's healthy for me to do.
Yes.
It might mean I'm staying, but I'm going to stand committed to myself.
To myself right now. Mm-hmm. It's like with the horses. Yeah. Practice, lay down and practice all the corners you can fall and do this and do that and breathe through it and get up and get on the horse.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're going to fall. If anything, you had repeated enough in your mind that you might anticipate anything the horse might do. But it's the same with life. Mm-hmm. If that was about to happen, not that I want it, not that I'm attracting it, who would I be? Am I going to lose my mind? Am I going to kill myself? Am I going to curse him, beat him? What am I going to do? And choose who you're going to be. Mm-hmm. Period. You can commit to that today. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Most of the time, what we fear the most doesn't happen. Thank God.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess let's call it a wrap up.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful. You probably noticed that all these conversations are wrapping around to similar types of conversations because really there's only one conversation to be had, which is the conversation of awareness and how everything comes back to that. It comes back to being aware. Exactly. When you're aware, everything starts to look like the same answer, right? You're in the space of that. And so, all we're trying to do is hold up all these objects, of these concepts, and look at them from different angles because it's helpful.
Yeah, it's awareness. And when you say awareness, you say empowerment. Why? Because when you're aware, you are present, you're there. So all your senses, you can tell. You can tell who to be with and who not to be with, who's lying to you, and it's okay. Like I said before, you can be friend with a liar. It's okay.
Yeah, you can trust them.
You can trust them to lie to you. Fine.
Okay.
And like I said before,
can be friends.
And like I said before, you can be a friend with a thief. Just hide your things that you don't want them to steal. It's okay. And it's the same. Yeah. And if you're married to a womanizer and you know he is, trust him that he will go.
Right.
And we have a saying in Wolof that says, whatever shows up in the marriage had knocked when you were dating and you just didn't want to look at it.
That's for sure. Nothing is a surprise.
You know what? If people could really hide who they are for centuries and you don't know, then they will be our master. I mean,
nobody's that good.
Nobody's that good.
They can't stay present that long to hide that well.
They
just don't have the ability.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If it's who they are, give them 5 minutes. They are going to tell you or show you or test them. They will fall. Every time. Yeah. So what is it to be afraid of?
Yeah, nothing at all.
So it's not fear of the other person you have. It's fear yourself of not having control of yourself.
Right.
And that needs for you to answer some questions for you. Let go of your fear of the past. Let go of your anticipation of the future and be present in the moment so that you have all that is required for you to be present and to see all signs coming to you because it's going to happen in the present moment, not the past, not the future.
What else can we say to that?
Thank you.
Yeah. So like, comment, subscribe. We read the comments. We like them. And let us know what you want us to talk about. We're happy to talk about it. So,
all right.
Well, we'll see you next time.
See you.